Okay, so a few years ago I used to frequent the Dream Views forum quite a bit, and a topic that came up once was talking about dream worlds and being able to sort of build your own dream world that you could essentially visit every time you get lucid. And I quite like this idea. I felt at the time it was probably a bit ambitious for me, but I wanted to kind of give it a go anyway. So I kind of came up with a few ideas of what I wanted to include in this world. And I figured to begin with that I needed to kind of keep it simple, because if I did something really detailed, like a big cityscape, it would probably be too difficult to recreate that every time I got lucid. I figured the detail there, it'd be very difficult for my mind to render it. So, like I said, tried to keep it simple, and I figured the best kind of thing to do would be to create like a little beach area, because there isn't really a great deal there that my mind has to remember. So I kind of got to work, kind of very basic, just doing some very basic sketches of the things that I wanted to be there. So, and also coming up with rules, basic rules and ideas to follow. Now the first thing I came up with was I would need to find a door to get into this world, and if I go through that door I'm going to end up on the beach. I had to keep reminding myself that that was what was going to happen when I go through a door. So the idea I had was there'd be like a kind of stone archway, and when I go through the door that is where I will appear, like just in between this stone archway on the beach. To my left there would be the sea. I'd kind of be on a long stretch of beach, and I guess to my right I kind of thought there'd be some greenery and trees. Seemed like a simple thing to render, you know, sea, beach, trees, got it. I tried to think of a name for this place, and I settled on Eden because of the Garden of Eden. I'm not religious, but I just kind of thought it was a good kind of name to give it, I suppose. So I can't remember how long it took me after I came up with this idea to actually go there, but I remember the dream I had was I was kind of in like an office building. It was very grey and very bleak, and everything was kind of blurry, the people were blurry, I couldn't really see the faces, and somehow I knew that I was dreaming and knew I had to get to Eden. And thankfully, being in a big office building, there were tons of doors. Now to begin with, every time I went through a door I'd just end up in another room, which was quite annoying. But I had this kind of female dream character that was slightly less blurry than the other people in the office, and she actually had some colour about her, and she was kind of encouraging me to keep going and to just not give up, basically. And eventually I went through a door and I was there. I was in Eden, and I didn't really start off on the beach. I was kind of in some sort of jungle terrain, and I remember it being really, really hot and muggy, and I was kind of walking on a dirt path which was quite soggy, and as I kind of walked ahead I noticed to the left of me through the trees was the beach and the ocean, so I kind of headed that way. I think my cat's scratching at something. Anyway, yeah, I was headed toward the beach, and I kind of walked along it. Like I say, it was very, very hot. That was the thing that kind of struck me instantly, was just how warm it was. Like, the temperature was the thing that was the most vivid, I suppose. So I walked on the beach, and even though I hadn't really planned much in my head of what things were going to look like, part of me felt a bit dissatisfied. So I kind of stood there and looked out at the sea, and this dream character approached me, and he was quite tall, he had green hair, he It reminded me a bit of like, if anyone's ever played the Jak and Daxter games, he kind of reminded me of a character from Jak and Daxter. So he had kind of like green hair that was slicked back. He had kind of pointy ears, a bit like Jak and Daxter characters, but not as pointy. Kind of green beard. He looked kind of middle-aged. He was quite muscular. Had a tank top on. He had like a big utility belt. And he approached me and he said to me, "This isn't what you were expecting, was it?" And I said, "No, not really." And the dream kind of finished after that. And then the next night, thankfully, I got lucid again. It started off as a bit of a weird nightmare where me and this guy were kind of in this torture chamber, naturally. And just the whole kind of scenario made me think, and it made me realise that it couldn't possibly be happening. So I was kind of semi-lucid at this point. Didn't quite have full lucidity, but I still knew that it was a dream, and I decided to turn myself invisible and give myself the ability to walk through walls, so I could just kind of slip straight out of this place and nobody would find me or be able to see me or be able to torture me, I suppose. And I kind of got outside and I was kind of in a sort of city area, and the girl from the previous dream who encouraged me to keep looking for the door, she was there, and she pointed to the nearest building, which was like a coffee shop, and it was a glass door, so I could see straight into the coffee shop, so I didn't think I'd be able to use that door because I could see what was on the other side. And that is what happened. I went to the coffee shop and it was a coffee shop, but I saw another door and went, right, I'm going through that one. Went through it, and I think the girl might have led me through it. I can't remember because I went through the door and I was in Eden. I was on the beach. It was kind of sunset, still pretty warm, and the girl was there, and I kind of just followed her. And suddenly I realised I was on the same beach area, but there were loads of like houses there now, or like little huts. And she sort of led me through these houses. Like we walked through a few of them, and we kind of just, I don't know, we kept walking down the beach, and there were tons and tons of people there, and there were loads of sort of, like I say, loads of huts, loads of little beach houses, and everyone seemed to be celebrating. And I bumped into the green-haired, long-eared fella again, and he seemed quite smug, he seemed quite happy, and it became very clear that he had built all these things for me. So the previous night I met him, he saw that I wasn't quite happy with things. The next night I come back, there's an entire village built on this beach, and I dubbed this guy the architect. I still call him the architect, although I think it might have been like a year later I asked him his name and he said his name is Gary. Now, no offence to anybody called Gary, but it's not really like a particularly mystical or spiritual name. You know, I kind of thought this guy would have a different name to Gary, but it's called Gary, what can I say? But I still kind of refer to him as the architect, and he basically builds things for me. Whenever I return to Eden, he usually has something new for me. But yeah, and there was this massive celebration, and everyone on the beach was celebrating the birth of Eden, essentially. I had a really good time, and I saw some people that I wanted to see. You know, I did some stuff that was quite personal to me, saw some people that I wanted to see, and it was just a fantastic environment. And I don't know, possibly one of the best experiences that I've had. And you know, the architect kind of raised a glass to me, and everyone was kind of like celebrating. This was it. This was the start of something. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, was the 3-year anniversary of Eden. So I've been building this place for 3 years. I've been going there for 3 years, and loads more is there now. Like, I usually go there and let the dream kind of unfold and the world kind of build itself, but I do spend some time when I'm awake kind of drawing or writing down or just coming up with ideas of things that I want to see there. Like, I want to contribute to the world, but I kind of like that it does it itself as well, if you know what I mean. So, you know, I've kind of split up different areas and different islands. You know, I've got like one area which is kind of pretty much all city. I've got an area that's pretty much kind of all greenery and kind of jungles and stuff like that. I don't know, I've got loads of areas, like, I haven't been able to go and visit all those areas because that would take, I don't think it's possible in a lifetime to explore the entirety of a dream world. But I've explored different bits of it. I've designed bits which I haven't been to yet. I've found bits that I haven't designed, but I'm quite happy to keep in that world, if you know what I mean. It's just awesome that I'm kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Co-creating it, like, consciously and subconsciously. And the same characters are usually there, and they usually remember the last time we spoke. So I mean, I've got like a massive list of characters that are there. I mean, I've got a list of people that I've met and just some kind of basic information about them. Yeah, so it's been 3 years. Unfortunately, I didn't get lucid on the night of the 3rd anniversary, but I did go there a few nights ago, and I kind of found a new area and a new character, and he kind of took me on a tour. And again, it was just kind of mind blowing how just how real it is. You know, I don't question the nature of it. Like, as far as I'm aware, it's a world that I've created. It's in my head, it doesn't exist outside of my head, but obviously I know a lot of people kind of have a lot of different feelings about lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences and stuff like that, and whether or not these things do take place outside of our heads or within them. It would be pretty cool if it was outside my head, but you know, either way, it doesn't really matter. I enjoy going there. If I've created it all in my mind, it's amazing how the brain works and how it can store so much information, and how I can go back and have conversations with these people and I remember everything, and their lives kind of go on at the same time. You know what I mean? If I go back, new things can have happened, new things can have been built. It's just, I don't know how else to describe it really. But yeah, 3 years, and I keep working on it, and the cat's scratching at the door and it's really annoying. But I'm going to leave it there. That is how Eden began. I'm not sure what I'm going to create next, but I'm going to focus my artwork on it a bit more, I think. So yeah, that's that.